I never realized how closely connected rest is with faith. Without faith, there can be no rest. And without rest, there can be no life. The whole issue, God's whole irk with his people was no trust. How do you deal with someone who doesn't trust you? Anybody ever in this situation? Raise your hand, let's see. You haven't, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to be in the midst and have to work with someone you don't trust. It's everything but rest. You're on high alert, you're at DEFCON 1, 24/7. With someone you don't trust. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You never relax. No. You're always at some stage of alert. It was never zero. You have to kind of like, it goes back to that saying in Godfather movie, I guess is what it represents. When it said, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. But keep your friends close can be work. You modify that by keeping your enemies close. Now you got stress.
Right.
You got everything but a rest. The best thing to do is let God take all your enemies. At one time. At one time. Give all your enemies to God at once. Now what will make you do that? Trust. Trust will make you give all everything I have, enemy-wise, to God, because he made it very clear he's my friend. Now if you trust him, then let him handle your enemies.
Amen.
All of them. Right?
Yes.
There's a problem with that. When you let God handle your enemies and handle all of them, he's going to take you out the mix. And he's going to handcuff you and tell you what you can't do, which is everything. He's going to tell you what you can do, which is nothing. You commit this to me? Okay, I got it. Put the cuffs on. Let's go. Because he knows we're prone to go another direction. Someone's got to put the cuffs on and the ankle braces on. Keep us fine here. Getting saved, then, with trust and all this in mind, is an act of complete surrender of oneself. I have to let me go. I cannot just say to preserve me. John the Baptist said it perfectly, although not in this exact context. Regarding Jesus, he said, I must decrease that he might increase. I make a joke about it. It's a very serious thing happened. But I don't think it ever crossed John the Baptist's mind that his decrease would be literal inches. He fulfilled his prophecy. I must decrease. It got to the point that he had to be put to death for the honor of the harlot queen. He decreased. That's what starts with us alive. We all of a sudden become nobodies. Salvation, if nothing else, directs itself immediately to the ego. The sin of Satan is very carefully pointed out in the 14th chapter of Isaiah. was not anything he did. He didn't do anything. Let that sink in. Satan did not commit a single act of sin. Here's that one problem. He says it 5 times in the 14th chapter of Isaiah, and it's all in direct defiance to God. This is what I will do. And right here, it said, sin was found in him. Well, what is sin then? A direct opposition to God in anything. I will. There's God, will be done. Then there's I will. Satan being selected there has made it amalgamated. And turned into a partnership. God helps those who help themselves. You take one step, he'll take 2. God made it very clear he does not work well with others. Right? His report card since she's in 1st grade said the same thing, does not work well with others. Tends to be a loner. That's what he said through this book. I do it myself. He never shows you consulting with anybody. Think about that. This man, this guy created empires, brought down empires, moved people, spoke things, and never asked anybody a question. To such a degree, it says in his word, who has been his counselor? That's a big question. If God has been in existence forever, well, who's been his counselor? Who made him God? You know about that? Who made God God? So, who made you God? When that's that question, that means you really think all that was somebody who made you God. One of my daughter's friends, he said an expression, they said they're going to be the boss of everything. I thought about that one. That's pretty deep. They're going to be the boss of everything. Nobody on this level. Nothing can compare to him. He brags himself. He says, so who will you compare me to? Or who can you liken me to? What's his appeal? Not to brag how great he is, but am I worth trusting? Is there something greater in the universe that you should trust along with me? Including you. Particularly you. I don't work with you. I'm God. I'm the creator. What need or purpose do I have to work with you? Is this best to eliminate you? But being God, I'm going to save you anyhow and still accomplish my intended purpose in you and make you live forever as my sons. But, I'm not here to work with you. He's the ultimate male chauvinist. It's my way. And he's serious about it. He proves it. It's like Moses got the way. Move out the way. If imagine someone who's used to a street fight. It starts with a bunch of talking first. It's very seldom street fight just breaks out to a real fight. Okay? But they do a lot of talking. And you can tell the person who does what they're in a fight. Right? We're going to say something that I really want to do this, okay? God is the ultimate caller outer. He called Pharaoh out in a national street fight. So who's the best? If Pharaoh had any idea who he was going up against, he would have dropped it a long time ago and said, hey, they can go. And give them a blessing. Right? It shows that will or how tough it is. It'll fight God. And there are people today who are alive who have issues with God. And my advice is, forget about it. It's not going to change him at all. It's like your children having issues with you. I'm not talking about they become, make them talk back. Teenage years and late teenage years. I'm not talking about that. You're a parent. They don't have any idea what your job is. No concept. They don't understand all the thought and feelings that go behind the simple, okay. They understand. The okay merits as much thought as the yes. Right?
Yeah.
Remember? You don't just say okay, like, just forget about it. You say okay, it's okay when you thought about it though. Or if you say no, you thought about that too and say no, you can't do it. Now this child's gonna engage in a conversation with you over that. Why would you do that? It won't make that child think he can. The society has that up, you know. But the children, the Bible says to train up a child the way he should go. It means to mark him like an arrow and position him where he's going to fly and launch him. It's in your hands. He says nothing about help launch your child. Help your child be all that he can be.
Right.
God don't work that way. I say that's not his way. He says, I'm God and you're the creation. I expect you to bow down. And you're the parents and they're the children and you expect them to bow down. That's what should happen. There's more stress in the house where kids are calling the shots. You run the game and you're there and you're at the mercy of a kid. That'll feel too good. I got an image, you know? I'm in the safety of a child. I got an apartment in this room. So you come to God. You come to complete surrender because you realize he's so far above me that I'm just blessed to be able to come to him.
Yes.
Thanks for the invitation. You realize how smart God is. You know, he got these, I go with the same thing. You know, just the solar system, forget all that other stuff. They have these big giant balls hanging out in space and on a trajectory of 1,000 miles an hour and on a spin of 1,000 miles an hour, and they're all controlled. All you have to ask yourself the question, can I do that? Can I almost do that? Can I make a model mock-up of that? Can I capture it with paint? You realize you can't at all. And that's just, that's his exhibit one. He starts there, we'll throw this at you. You want more, we'll go there. And Abraham, he cut to the chase. Count the stars. Just count the stars. I understand this statement for many years in church. It made no sense because they weren't preaching salvation by faith, they were preaching salvation by works, so it didn't make sense. I thought if God said count the stars, then Abraham had to count the stars. There's a lot of work, and he never quite finished the job. That's how the doctrine they preached should have gone to that conclusion. Which means that God got to come and save him. But God was going to start off with Abraham's son, and then goes, what's this? Come. After he makes you know that he counts him, he has them all numbered and calls them by name. But you just come. He couldn't do it. He couldn't even count them. God didn't say make one. Just count them as they rise. At nighttime, go up there, sunset, and then they're back and start counting them with your pad and count them. That's the count them right. I believe Abraham tried. I believe he took God at his word, went out in the desert, he never took part in the desert, and started counting stars. Then probably tried a little bit and figured out, okay, we'll just count the real bright ones. We're going to count all the stars, it's got to be this bright to count. Then got bogged down on that count. And it's like, it hit him at some point, these things just keep coming up. All night long in the billions. All night, another one's coming on the horizon every second. That's what I hear. Billions are coming over every second. And then it just hit him. And then it just hit him. God gave him the idea or the understanding. If I can do this, you're about to have a problem over me telling your wife she's going to have a son next year. What was this question? How should I know? That's how you're going to know. Count the stars. Now, from that, Abraham, you think you can trust me? Because you can do something basic. I ask you to do anything to alter the universe, just count the stars. So why would God work with Abraham? That's my point. I forgot. Why would God spend time debating with Abraham? Over what? What do they have to talk about when it comes to getting you from point A to point B, which God says from here to heaven? What is there to discuss? Anybody have any questions? Did you see the guy doing that? Anybody have any questions? I took that time I took the wrong course in college. I took a biology course. And I sat there in that first class, so we lost. I mean, they could have been talking about English, right? That kind of lost. And then I was through the end of the class when the teacher asked me many questions, and a student stood up and proceeded to have a 5-minute dialogue with the instructor and the stuff he was talking about, and I knew right then I'm in the wrong class. So God, what would you ask God? You know, as far as knowing him to produce evidence of his being worthy of your faith and trust, what would you ask him? I mean, all you have to do is go and look out. At night time, look out. And realize he's a little bit too heavy for me. I'm not qualified to have a mathematical conversation with him. So anything he says about numbers, I'm good to go. Because he's proven this, he goes a lot of zeros sometimes. He knows numbers. I know. So I trust him. It sounds so insignificant, but that's the only way to get to heaven and the only way to live stress-free down here. I've been saved for almost 15 years. I've just come to understanding about trusting God in the last few months. What it means. When we trust him, he can take us anywhere, to anything, and through anything. Things you just cannot go through. I never prayed to die before my life. I did last week. I prayed, Lord, just take me. Well, I can't stand this. And then in the back of my mind, I'm wondering, why aren't you doing something? I felt better yesterday than I felt all year. Keep on praying. He's working on it. I'm coming here one Sunday, one week, just say, look, I'm healed. Amen. And Satan better watch out for him.
Yes, that's right.
Okay? He's in trouble. I'm not going to forget what he did. The Lord brought to me the scripture today that in the world you shall have tribulation.
Yes.
He means tribulation across the board.
Yes.
If it's sickness, it's going to be a tribulation. You're going to have no world. So we'll be in good cheer. I overcome it.
That's right.
And the more we know God's word, there will, God does, do exams. He conducted exams with them as a congregation periodically. And they kept failing and failing and failing and failing, whereby the only conclusion you could come to is that they have no idea who I am. No idea. They have no idea what I can do. Good wives, they have no idea what I can do. Bad wives, they have no idea. Just as complex as this was, I can be as complex in doing good or as complex in doing evil. Talking about a case where you never know what hit you. If God plotted your demise, He'd have you enjoy land until it actually impacted. So what was that? I had a scripture, I think it's Proverbs 3. I should just look it up. Yeah. Proverbs 3. Verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not into thine own understanding. We're in high school. One of the cool faces was driving with the gangster lean. Remember all that? What was represents is that the passenger leaned to the and they were driving. It looked cool, but it's the worst way to drive as far as avoiding accidents. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for those small town that has 2 roads across, and there's 40 stop and stoplight. Other than that, leaning is not cool. I was behind the car and like on Crenshaw, I thought for sure nobody's in. It was like I couldn't see any form of alcohol like that. I couldn't see any form of that at all. I turned. God says leaning is not good. Right. And don't trust more about thy heart, and don't lean. Just sit straight up and roll. Okay? Yes. Why don't you do that? You know, you can't ride with everybody driving. Some people when you drive and ride with them, it's best to say a prayer and just close your eyes. Then you'll see what happens. Right? And there's always a great thrill, like a treat, to when the car stops for sure, you can open your eyes and you're at this destination in one piece. You thank God. God would have to be the best one to ride with. You can put him in the fastest car because he likes fast. He made it very clear. I got a planet going 18,000 miles an hour. So if I ride with me, I want the car really souped up and let me drive. Would that be a thrill riding? God driving? A machine he built? Whoa. He's just saying, let me drive. Sit in the back. You wouldn't get scared to death. I'll do it for you. But let me drive. He's not trying to teach us how to drive. Nowhere since God started leading Israel did God try to teach them what they should do. His main thing to teach them was, I'm God. I'm God. And it's the same, you have to keep on reminding them, I'm the Lord God that saved you at the house of bondage. Why have God keep on telling them over and over again? Because in their minds, he wasn't, because they had no idea what he was. Hopefully he gave the best evidence he could here. I offer this up as my resume. Can you do anything close to that? Do you know what that's doing? Do you understand this? It's movements. So forth. I mean, you got the 9 planets, and every so often, I do understand this, but every so often, you get a planetary alignment. We got the sun in the middle, and they're all lined up on both sides of the sun. That has to mean something. Not an accident. Maybe God began the solar system like that to start the clock. And the language is very soft in so many years and it means something. We'll understood, conduct the information over there. There'll be class for it. it said that in the ages to come, God's going to have a class to us about His grace.
Amen.
So we're already saved. See, I'm sure I got there. For all this power in you as sons of God and completely conquering everything, there's some things you're going to have to know about who I am and about what you were and about who you are now and about what you're about to come to be. There'll be classes. They're going to be the best class in the world. I'll probably teach one of them. I'll let you know. I'll probably go to them. In all thy ways, acknowledge Him. And He shall direct thy paths. Here's how I'm going to give you a shortcut this one. We have many ways and streets and directions pulling on us all the time. All day long. So many things happen in our life within a stretch of 5 minutes sometimes that we have to sit down and think about the sequence later on and hope we got it right. I was a navigator in the military, and part of my job was to keep the ship's log. And keeping the ship's log during the 4-hour watch, they say log everything you see. Using the ship's log, 8:26 p.m., bunch of birds flew over the ship. You write it down. I've seen inquiries about a collision or something in the military. The first thing they ask for is the ship's log because that ship's log should be recording everything the ship's doing. The speed changes, you log it. The course change, you log it. Different officers on deck, you log it. Whatever happened, you put it, you log it. Fire drill took place, you log it in. When it started, where it started, so forth. So to go to God on all these things will be a bit much. Things happen in our lives that we don't think about God at the time. And then we go back to God. So, Lord, what am I going to do? Right? But when it happens, we don't think about God. We're not praying again. Some things happen that we don't even know that they're going to involve God. Later on, this seems a significant thing. Here's my point, I'll save you some time. Rather than in each individual situation you go through every day with God, just sign a contract with Him now and say, Lord, I acknowledge all my ways to you.
Right. Amen.
And get it done with. Get it done with. Now, if you do that, or when you do that, what do you think should be the next step for you? Rest. There's no other conclusion, no alternative. I give all this my ways unto you. I commit them to you, so you got them all. Which means all I got to do now is follow Him. All my ways, He knows how to eat, so I commit that to Him. He knows how to sleep, I commit that to Him. He knows about this, that, so on and so forth. I commit that to Him. And when it comes about that He does not want you to help Him drive. Take the Greyhound bus, get the driver to us. Just let Him drive. You take a bus somewhere. The fun of riding the bus is just ride.
That's right.
I ain't calling cabs sometimes because I got to tell the cab driver how to get there. So I said, tell you what, look, you sit in the back seat, I'll drive. He said, you pay me. If I got to tell you the return to take, I'm not enjoying this ride a bit. I got things in my mind I'm thinking about. And I got to stop, you better stop me and get your Thomas guide out and look it up. I'm like, I ain't paying the driver a cab. Once you give everything, He says, and He shall direct your paths. Now what's your role in that part? Know that. It's understood now, my paths are being directed by Him. So whatever comes my path, He already knows about it because He's directing my path. And He got there first. this is the way it is, I'm gonna have to go. Now, God says, he does there's a disclaimer. He does a big disclaimer before he starts dealing with people. And that's in Isaiah, I believe. I showed it up before I came in. I might need some help on it. I ain't tell it first. I'll try to find it first. It's a very familiar passage. I just can't find it. Okay, here we go. My ways, not your ways. Find it for me.
$55.
55 and 8? Let's turn it. This is God's disclaimer. Start reading with me in verse 6. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. That says a whole lot. That says to me, he's not trying to be the finder. He's the Lord. You want to catch him? Seek him while he may be found. Find out where he hangs high. Find out when he normally passes by this way. He says, seek him when he may be found. Call you upon him while he's near. God's saying that I make myself a place and a space and introduce myself to the lives of people. And when I do, he said, don't take it casually, but seek me and call upon me. What would you call upon him for? Only one thing. Save me. Because Lord, from the picture showing things aren't too cool. So whatever happens, save me. It's like the thief on the cross. He comes to the realization of who Jesus was, and so on and so forth. And he's the best he could do. He said, Lord, when you come to your kingdom, remember me. What a prayer. He couldn't even begin to list anything that he should be remembered for. So he threw himself completely at the mercy of God and just remember me. What did Jesus tell him? This thing. Thus be with me in paradise. That's something. That's the shortest getting saved story in the Bible. But it shows how quick he is to those who call upon him while he's near. He's right next to him, and he called upon him, and he gave him salvation. Sometimes you sense the nearness of God in your life.